wealthy people in this world who want their children to go to college and have the typical college experience, but that child is never going to be in a situation that they actually have to make a living for themselves. So that's why these different crazy programs exist. It exists for some trust fund baby who wants to go to college. They want to pledge a fraternity or sorority. They want to have that social clout, but they're not going to go to school and get a STEM type of career because they don't need it. But the working class man and woman in America, we can't afford to go to school, take on all that debt, and from a major that's not going to make you money. So just going to college is going to make you successful is a myth. Going to college and getting an education in a field that makes you money, that's real. But just going, that's not going to do it. Not at all.
Let's talk about a little bit of hip hop, but the financial side of it. What advice would you give to, these artists, coming into the game, getting a major deal? They may get like $1 million. What advice would you give to them, and how to, move their money around, what to do as somebody just coming into a lot of money like
this?
That?
I have this issue every time when I work with a client that's in the sports and entertainment world. Understand that for them to get where they are laser focused on the skill set that they have, be it sports, be it entertainment, wherever it is, right? They have to be laser focused on being able. Now you have to be the full package, right? You can't just rap or sing. You got to be able to rap, sing, dance, act, right? So that takes a lot of energy and a lot of focus. You can't just say, I'll deal with the money stuff later. Everything's going to work out, because everything doesn't work out. We have a long history in our community that has shown and proved that everything doesn't work out just because you're talented. It's not going to work out on its own. The number one thing that you need to do, you need to work with a licensed professional who is going to look out for you and make sure that they're doing what they need to do, so that you actually can retire someday and you don't have to do shows all the way into your 60s just to be able to sustain yourself. So here's the issue. Entertainers get a very large lump sum of money up front. They have no frame of reference of the budgeting that has to take place in order to sustain them. They think because they got this large sum of money now, it's just going to keep coming, right? It's hard to really break someone's confidence. That's like a basketball player who's just on. It doesn't matter where they are on the court, it's going in. But at some point, you're going to cool off a little bit. The shots ain't going to drop like that all the time. And if you're spending all your energy just chucking the ball up every time it touches your hand, you're going to end up in a part of your career that you can't sustain. It's the same thing with entertainers. Understand that immediately when you first get that first advance or whatever, you need to start budgeting as if no more money is going to come. Now, I know this may, throw off the lavish lifestyle plans that you had for yourself, but here's always what I tell clients. You have a choice. You can live like a king for a couple of years. And I'm really meaning a couple, 2 to 5 years. You can live like the king of the world for 2 to 5 years, or you can live like a prince for the rest of your life. What do you want to do?
Powerful. Now, how do you see these different cases like, with Kevin Garnett, and you see, people, they'll put somebody in charge of their money,
right,
then they end up stealing it. How does this happen? I mean, obviously I know, but break it down. Like, what goes down where people just, just letting like large sums of money being stolen from without being accountable to it?
There's a couple of things in play. Number one, you have to be accountable for the background check of the financial professional that you're dealing with. That's number one. There are resources that you can go to and check the backgrounds of these people. You can go to the SEC, you can go to brokercheck.org and see if they're actually licensed. The thing with Kevin Garnett is the guy that he actually gave money to, he was already having issues. Right? So before he gave him the money, If he would have just checked this guy's background, he would have saw that he already had issues with the SEC. So there would have been a red flag right there. It's like, whoa, man, you already have issues. I'm not going to give you my money now until you clear that up or give me a good enough explanation of why you're having trouble with the SEC. So that's one thing. The other thing is there's different types of financial professionals. Just the broad scope of saying financial professional isn't enough. You want to make sure you're working with someone with this F word called fiduciary, right? Fiduciary. What does fiduciary mean? Fiduciary means they are a professional who has to put the interest of their client before their interest, right? They have to disclose any conflicts of interest. I have never in my life sold a financial product to a client. That's what a stockbroker does, right? A stockbroker is not licensed to give people financial advice. A stockbroker is licensed to sell you a financial product. So the more expensive the financial product, the more of a commission they make off that sale. The way that a fiduciary is set up, and I can tell you the way that my firm is set up, I'm paid directly by the client to give them financial advice. So it doesn't matter to me what you do with your money. I'm not getting paid more if you buy X stock or if you pay down debt. I'm paid based on my time to give you advice. So I would say an issue that they can do or something that they can do to prevent a lot of this is, number one, always double check with the government. Whatever governing body that this person says gives them their license, check with them first. Each one of them, the SEC, FINRA, they all have websites where you can check and see, is this person in good standing or not? We're talking about a 5-minute Google search to see if they're in good standing. Then when they pass that point, be upfront with them. Ask them, how do you get paid? Do I pay you for advice, or do you get paid when you sell me something? Because if you're incentivized to get paid when you sell me something, all your advice is going to be selling me something, because self-preservation is the number one law in nature. Even if they're a great guy, a great girl, when you go to their office, you always walk away feeling good. It doesn't make them an evil person. What it makes them, what it means is they're on the other side of the table from you. You are a customer, not a client. So that's one issue. Ask them straight up, how do you get paid? And number three, how does investments work? Do I just give you money and you invest my money for me? No. That's not how it's supposed to work. There's supposed to be a third-party custodian. One of these big multinational companies, they're actually going to be the ones that have custody of your money, custody of the investment. And me as the advisor, I'm going to advise you how to set up your portfolio, what different things that we need to buy to meet your financial goals. But clients don't hand, the only check clients hand me is my fee. They don't hand over their life savings to me. They hand it over to a third party. And if something happens, that third party international investment institution has insurance policies that will pay you back if they mess up. But I'm not putting that on me. Don't give me, you worked all your life for $500,000, $10 million, or $60,000.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you to give the money to me. We're going to put it somewhere where you can have eyes on it, I can have eyes on it, and the government can have eyes on it.
Indeed. Definitely appreciate your time. JT the Pocket watching with JT on YouTube, man. Definitely go check the brother out, giving us a wealth of knowledge. My last question to you would be, we see the fall of crypto. And first of all, I'd love to have you back on a couple times. I know
that's right. Tax season's over. I'm free. You let me know I'm here.
Indeed. My last question to you though, crypto. We've seen the fall of crypto the last couple of days. It really took a nice dump and a lot of people lost some money. Talk about that. Crypto in general, what are your thoughts on crypto, the fall, and what are people to do in your opinion? Hold, sell, what's going on in your opinion?
All right. Crypto is speculation right now. All right. It's just about how people feel about a certain piece of technology, right? Until there is a set amount of usability of these coins, of this technology, it's going to be extremely hard to give it some sort of evaluation. Let's say there's a lot of people who collect comic books, right?
Right.
So number one Superman, number one X-Men, it's going to cost a lot of money to get that. But it's only going to cost a lot of money to the people who want it, right? If you don't give a care about comic books, that number one Superman means absolutely nothing to you unless someone tells you, oh, it's worth this, right? Right now, that's basically what these cryptocurrencies are. They're only worth something because there is a large group of people who believe that it's worth something. And the second that their confidence is shook, the price drops because it has no real usability outside of exchanging it among people who believe it has worked. The same thing with the comic book. Yeah, okay, this rich millionaire who grew up loving comic books, he'll happily pay $1 million for Superman number one. Right. But me, a kid from St. Louis, is like, hey, I love comic books too. I watch all the Marvel movies. Right. But I would never buy a comic book for $1 million. It means nothing to me. So you can tell me that the price dropped on Superman number one from 10 million to 1 million. It don't change my life. But for those people who did buy into cryptocurrencies who are really worried right now, what that tells me is you are buying on speculation. You really didn't believe in that cryptocurrency as an appreciating asset, because if you did, you know that this is a sale. It's cheaper now. You shouldn't be sad. You should be buying more if it's something that you believed in. But because you're panicking right now, that tells me you didn't believe in this project, this cryptocurrency, as an asset that's going to be important to the financial world moving forward. This was a quick flip, and you bought in during the pump, and now you're getting hit during the dump. So should you buy, should you sell? I would say see a licensed professional financial to figure out what works best for you. But on the general sense, if you bought in for the hype, that's what happens during the pump and dump. But if you bought it because you really believed in the project, then this is a sale. I'm happy when things that I love go on sale. That doesn't upset me. If it's something that I really like that used to be $100, let's say Air Force Ones. I normally buy Air Force Ones for $100. Then I wake up one day and they're $75 or $65. I'm not upset by that. I buy more. But that's because I believe in the project.
Right.
I believe in the product. That doesn't shake me because I know sooner or later either the value will go back up or I appreciate it enough where it don't matter what the world says. I love it when Warren Buffett says this when he talks about the stock price. If someone came to you today and said, let's say you bought your house for $100,000, and then the next day someone knocks on your door and says, I'll buy your house for $75,000. You slam the door in their face. You don't care. Right? That's what the stock market, that's what these exchanges are basically saying. All they're telling you is what someone else is willing to buy what you got, willing to pay for, the price.
Right.
It doesn't actually change the product or the thing that you have. So I'm not swayed by it. But for those of you who bought in on the hype, hey, you either die on your sword or exit stage left and learn your lesson.
Great point.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the wealth of knowledge, man, that you dropped here on the platform. Leave your social media, website, anything you want the people to reach you at. Yeah,
absolutely. Almost on everything you can find me either at Pocket Watching on social media or at Thornton Advisor. And I have a new website up for all my pocket watchers out there is pocketwatcher.net. There you can actually go on pocketwatcher.net and you can book a personal consultation with me at pocketwatcher.net.
Dope. You watch basketball?
Yeah, absolutely.
Lakers Warriors, man. Who you got in this plane?
Lakers all day. I ain't even got to think about it.
Oh, you ain't even entertaining it?
I'm not even entertaining it.
They should. But I might expect the upset. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it.
They might get a game. They might get a game. But I just know over the long time, I'm a person who counted LeBron James out early in his career because I'm his age. When he was in high school and ESPN in his games, I was in high school.
Yeah.
Right. And I was looking at some of the people he was playing. I was like, yeah, he's getting that off. These are kids. He's playing kids. He can't do this against grown men.
He did it.
I was a LeBron hater early on because he was my age and I just thought there was a lot of hype. I'm going to tell you right now, brother won me over in so many different respects. He won me over as a player. He won me over as a businessman. He won me over just as a mogul by bringing up his crew. You talk about brothers who he went to high school with, brothers that he met at an airport are now the kingmakers of an industry. I never bet against LeBron. I don't care what it is. Never again. I did early.
Right.
I never bet against LeBron.
Should be a game, man. And I completely agree with you, man. Definitely appreciate you coming on here, Mr. Jayson Thornton. Go ahead and find him on YouTube right now. Park and watch it with JT, and all his social media platforms. Definitely appreciate your time, brother, and the knowledge. It's always refreshing to come and hear the information coming from us. Somebody to talk like us. Listen like us. So
I always tell people, man, it's when you're dealing with a professional, you always want to work with someone that comes from your community. Because it gives you, they know and understand where you come from, but you still, because there's a thing called affinity fraud. You still can't leave your guards down. Just because I came from your hood, I come from the same place that you come from, you still got to hold me to the same standards as you would the person that comes across the street. Because that's another big thing that we find in our community, affinity fraud. Because they come from where we come from, we let our guards down. And I've seen a lot of people lose their life savings because they worked with the homies.